So hi everyone, we are group 12. In this project, we use Spark to perform data analysis on Steam game. Here is a brief introduction of our presentation. Let me introduce this project first. Steam is a digital distribution platform for games with a vast collection of game reviews and user behavior data. We analyze using Apache Spark and its three extension modules, Spark Data Frame, Spark Streaming, and Spark Machine Learning. We use two datasets, Steam video games from Kaggle and Steam reviews from Zenodo in our data analysis. The results are stored in MongoDB and displayed on a front-end web page using e-charts for visualization. In this project, there are three pipelines that correspond to each of the three Spark modules mentioned above. In the Spark data frame pipeline, after analyzing the game review, we store the result files in MongoDB in JSON format. Then we show the data result to our front-end web page using an open source JavaScript visualization library called eCharts. Users can query interesting information according to the instruction of the web page. In the Spark streaming pipeline and the machine learning pipeline, we perform the outputs to the console for convenience. Let me introduce the data set we use now. So this is the first data set called Steam Reviews dataset. It contains over 6.4 million English reviews from the Steam review section of the Steam store. Each review includes the game's ID, the game's name, the review text, the review sentiment, and the number of users who found the review helpful. The right image shows a glimpse of this dataset. Here is our second dataset, Steam video games dataset. It contains a list of user behavior with columns for user ID, game title, behavior name, value, and valid. Behaviors included are purchase and play, with the value indicating the degree to which the behavior was performed. For purchase, the value is always 1, while for the play, the value represents the number of hours the user has played the game.
For the Spark section, we use Spark data frame to perform data analysis, Spark streaming to simulate streaming data processing, and Spark ML Lab to build game recommendation model. In Spark data frame section, we perform data analysis on the review data set. The questions we are interested in are which games are downloaded and played the most, which can be reflected by the number of reviews, and which games are the most popular, which can be reflected by the sum of both of reviews. In addition, we also want to know the user's impression of a certain game, which can be achieved by counting and analyzing the words that appear in the review content. The analysis results are shown in the figure on the right. We save them in JSON format for subsequent import into MongoDB and display in the front-end page. For the Spark streaming section of our project, we face a challenge. Most streaming APIs are now charged, and Steam does not provide an official streaming API at all. So we decided to download and save the data and divide it into several parts to simulate streaming data processing. Our goal was to simulate the dynamic display of the current most popular games. To achieve this, we used the total game time for all users for each game as a measure of its current popularity. To implement this functionality, we used QStream. Every 5 seconds, we input a new batch of data, recalculated the results, and displayed them. The figure on the right shows partial results of the streaming program. In the machine learning section, we use Spark ML Lab to recommend games to users based on their current playing preferences. We used each user's playing time for each game as a measure of their liking for that game. This is a reasonable approach as users typically play games they enjoy for longer periods of time. To reduce the impact of outliers in our data, we mapped playtime to a scale of 1 to 10. We used alternating least squares as our model. The basic idea behind this approach is to decompose this sparse matrix and evaluate the value of missing item to obtain a basic training model. This model can then be used to evaluate new user and item data. Evaluating the effectiveness of our game recommendation model is challenging because it is subjective. So we decided to use a subjective evaluation method. We first examined the rating given by a specific user to each game, which is shown in the figure on the right, and found that this user rated highly on first-person shooter games such as CSGO and Call of Duty, and simulation construction games such as Vanished. The games our model recommended to this user are Elite Dangerous, a first-person shooter game, and FIFA Manage 09, construction simulator 2015, which are business and construction simulation games. This suggests our model is reasonable.
So here I will present the visualization of our project.
You should share your screen. Share the screen.
I'm adjusting my, yeah. So here, as for visualization, we chose to present the results in a web page for greater interactivity, clear representation, and real-time update capabilities. Of course, JavaScript and HTML programming were employed. The data obtained will be stored in a Mongo database, and the front-end web page will fetch the data from the database as a JSON file and display it as a chart generated by Apache eCharts. In this case, real-time updating of visual charts is achieved. In order to increase the interactivity with the user, we have also implemented some sorting, searching, mapping, and slicing functions for the data in the web page. So give a clearer view of the web page, we can see that here. So the first bar chart is the top 10 games with the highest cumulative numbers of reviews. So we can see that Payday 2 is the game with the most reviews. The next chart is a chart for the top 10 games with the highest cumulative ratings. We can see that Terraria, Dota 2, and Rocket League are the top 3 user accomplished ones. So the next session, we can enter a game name here and show the word count. So now you have a brand new view about our webpage, and here are some results we generated. Like Dota 2, we can see the top word counts are like fun and best, like, so it's really welcomed by its users. And also Undertale is, we can see that it's a storytelling game and it has many characters that we can infer from the data. Okay, thank you. Here's our presentation.